So we talked a couple days ago, right, about the importance of Deuteronomy 18:18, and now Iran is bringing the same thing forward, and I want you to see how important it is, right, Iran, that Yeshua is the Nevi like Moshe, right, the prophet like Moses. But I want to read this, and I want to comment on something. The Lord your God will raise up for you a prophet like me. This is Moses speaking, so it's his prophecy. From among you, from among your countrymen, you shall listen to him. This is according to all that you asked the Lord your God in Horeb on the day of the assembly, saying, let us not hear again the voice of the Lord our God. Let me not see this great fire anymore, or we will die. The Lord said to me, they have spoken well. I will raise up a prophet from among their countrymen like you. Highlighting very clearly Yeshua's Jewish identity, right? I mean, even from Deuteronomy 18, for all the Christians who would say or argue against that. I will put my words in his mouth, right? To re-emphasize that the book of John is talking about all these words that Yahweh has put in his mouth. He shall speak to them all that I command him. I only say what my Father has given me to say. Right? These phrases in John. It shall come about that whoever will not listen to my words, this is what Eran is saying, which he shall speak in my name, I myself will require it of him. So they're judged upon the words of Yeshua. But then, the last part of what Eran was saying. But the prophet who speaks a word presumptuously in my name, which I have not commanded him to speak, or he speaks in the name of other gods, that prophet shall die. You may say in your heart, how will we know the word which the Lord has not spoken? When a prophet speaks in the name of the Lord, if the thing he does not come about or come true, that is the thing which the Lord has not spoken. Okay, I want you to think, okay, what was Jesus, what were some of his first words in the temple? Essentially, it's a prophecy. He goes into the temple, right? In John chapter 2, he cleanses the temple. And they speak to him and say, what authority do you have to do this? And how does he respond? I'm asking. Okay, I'll read it.
The authority of my Father.
The Jews said to him, what sign will you show us? The Jewish leadership, right? What sign do you show us as your authority for doing these things? And then he speaks the most crazy phrase. Destroy this temple, and I'll raise it up in 3 days. Boom! And so what happens? He's a false prophet. The first words out of his mouth to the Jewish authorities, to them, they're reading it through Deuteronomy 18. And so what's beautiful about this is that Jesus, as the atoning sacrifice, gave them the very reason from the beginning to crucify him. He gave them essentially what they wanted from the beginning, to identify him as a false prophet. John says, but he's speaking of his body. I believe literally he will rebuild the temple in 3 literal days when he comes again as the son of David. And that's what we see in Ezekiel, I believe. I believe he restores the temple in 3 days. That's my own perspective. But is that not intense? So the lamb that was slain from the foundations of the earth, right? He comes as an atoning sacrifice. Isaiah 53. But when you put it in perspective to him being the prophet like Moses, are you catching what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. The phrase was, this is how you'll know he's a false prophet. If he speaks something in my name and it doesn't come to pass, he's a false prophet. So for him to say, yeah, destroy this temple, I'll raise it up in 3 days. To those guys, they immediately can identify him. He's a false prophet. We're going to watch him. We're going to kill him, right, from the beginning. And you see that happen later in the scriptures. Okay, from that time forward, they decided they would kill him. But it's wild to me to see how he identifies his own calling in his understanding that he's going to the cross from very early on. It's like me saying, like, something that provokes you that's going to play out in my own murder or martyrdom, right? It would be like saying to Muslims something crazy about Muhammad, right? I won't say something too crazy, but it would be like saying something to provoke that ends in your murder. And essentially that's framing his identity again of knowing that he's this prophet like Moses. The prophet like Moses stuff goes so deep and is so powerful. I just wanted to tag on because Aaron had mentioned it again. So does that make sense?
Yeah.